Hello, and welcome to this edition of the Angels and Destiny show. Why is this show called this, you may ask? So I'll tell you. The accepted meaning of angel is messenger, and the accepted meaning of destiny is to make, firm, establish. So my guests and I bring you messages to establish what you need to know in the present. And of course, I love working with angels and the calmness they bring. Now, in a moment, I'll introduce you to my wonderful guest, Michael André Ford. But before that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching the show live at a later date, as it means a lot to both of us to connect with like-minded people. Now, if you've never met me before, then my name is Rae, and I'm the founder of Radiant Angel Energy. And I'm a spiritual guide and healer, passionate about helping you reconnect with your divine presence and step into your purpose. Now, through angelic Reiki, angel oracle cards, guided meditations, and exploring past and future lives, I support you in healing your past and creating a soul-aligned future. Now, my journey has taught me that with the right tools and guidance, we can all connect with our higher selves, embrace transformation, and live a life full of abundance and fulfillment. Now, each episode of this show covers various themes of your journey. A mini guided meditation, angel oracle card reading, or a little something my guests may do, with the wisdom of my wonderful guest, like today's guest, Michael André Ford, about angels, love, and joy. Now, Michael is an intuitive guide who helps people connect directly with angels, spiritual figures, and other loving beings, including Native American chiefs, Mary, Buddha, Plato, Jesus, and even departed loved ones and pets. Now, through his unique gift, he enables others to feel, hear, and see these divine presences, offering hugs and answers and profound healing experiences. Now, with over 100 testimonials and photos capturing angels and auras, Michael's work has touched countless lives. His book, Listening to Angels, an Amazon #2 bestseller twice, is endorsed by Anita Moyani. He also hosts the Angels Positivity and Love YouTube show with over 330 episodes booked into 2026, where guests often experience real-time connections with angels. Now, Michael's mission is to bring love, joy, and divine guidance to all who are ready to open their hearts. Now, I've experienced one of Michael's sessions, and it was amazing. And I'm looking forward to being a guest on his show in the future. Now, with testimonials such as, it's quite amazing to be able to feel and see energy through a Zoom call, to smell the sage, and to connect with vibrations of etheric beings. We're all frequency and need only open our hearts to the possibilities those vibrations can invite into our lives. Michael and his delightful band of angels provided insight to an issue I was struggling with. The awareness and clarity this session brought was truly a gift, and I will treasure it. And I had the pleasure of spending nearly 2 hours with Michael and uncovering gifts that lay dormant. Michael introduced me to the world of angels in a way that helped me tap into the things that are always there. Michael's energy, intuition, ability to collapse ego blocks with dad jokes made it possible for me to connect with guidance and energies all around me. It was an absolute pleasure and joy to work with him. And if your intuition is guiding you to connect with someone that can help you connect, book a call with Michael. He is open, compassionate, and so very giving. And I can definitely back that up. So without further delay, hello, Michael, and welcome to the Angels and Destiny show. How are you today?
Good, Rae. Thank you for having me on, and thank you for the sweetest introduction of all time.
Oh, you are welcome. So before we get into this fascinating conversation, I want to remind you, not only can you share this video, but you can also ask questions, leave comments and thoughts, as both Michael and I want to be part of this conversation. So please don't be shy. So Michael, why don't you tell us more about your journey and how we connect and experience angels, love and joy?
I'd love to, and I'm going to just add for folks, in case they didn't, like, their ears weren't working right, they had a bit of fluff in there. You literally get a direct experience. It's almost as if you kick me out of the way. You get your own answers, all languages spoken, a lot of humor, and the angels just know how to work your value system, your personality, to get you the answers the way you need to hear it, plus full-on seeing, and you can do this as a group. So again, group hearing, group seeing, get hugs, and it's a lot to take in. The brain immediately will start to shut off and be like, that's not possible. But the full-on seeing will reduce you to a fourth former, and you'll be mush. Okay, so I wouldn't have said I was of any particular persuasion in the 70s, 80s growing up. I'm 57, born in 1968. Very open, super enthusiastic. You know, that you probably have to book me and arrest me on that. Hyper enthusiastic. And that seems to be my big skill. I lost 2 parents along the way. When I was turning 2, my dad passed in the US Navy off the coast of Italy in an F-4 Phantom fighter. It was his time to go. He had just turned 25, 26. And then my mom passed when I was turning 23. And hundreds of people have seen, met them, and they show up in their 20s as a loving couple. So it was a really big deal for a long time. Angel said that that was something I had to go through to be able to help others as part of my path. And it really wasn't until I left maybe 16, 17, 18 years in New York City, first a little bit on Wall Street, mostly public relations, doing corporate PR, back when the media was totally like normal. I did public relations, so I was connecting people. I was very energetic. I loved matching people up, and 1 + 1 = 3. I'm kind of doing the same job today. I take humans on one side, the audience, and introduce them to loving beings of all different backgrounds, just love and above. And instead, though, 1 + 1 = 11 or 111. So you get your answers, you get your hugs and all the rest. And I try to step back. I try not to ever tell anybody anything. I don't see their questions. I don't see their answers. You just get it your way. And to borrow from that Burger King commercial from the 1980s, have it your way. So there are no limits. And this is going to be tough. The older we got, the more adulting we do, the more seriously we either take ourselves, our roles, or our situations, our dilemmas, our problems, and the rest. The harder it is just to kind of go light like a feather in the moment, to do basic listening, basic feeling, and basic seeing. That's kind of the rub here, is what will you allow for daily? And let's skip the angel stuff for a second. What are you allowing for daily? Most of us, you know, it's work stress, got to pay the bills, this illness, this cousin, I can't go on vacation, I don't know what I'm doing in life, relationships, the usual rigmarole. So what do you do with it all? I always just say, hey, toss it up in the air, let the universe start to step in, trust a little more. It doesn't matter what persuasion you are. And you're okay if you've got a very distinct persuasion, a certain India group that you're part of, or a certain Native American group, or Protestant, Catholic, whatever you'll allow for just in the moment. The universe knows how to work with you and meet you halfway onto the dance floor for a beautiful experience.
Yeah, I love the way you know, made that, you know, that it's a beautiful dance of energy between us and the universe. And I think that's what we often forget, that it is a dance. It's not one doing more than the other. It's a beautiful combination, a beautiful waltz.
Yeah, no interference. So I wouldn't want to tell anybody anything more than I'm going to do in today's show. It's unfortunate I have to speak at all, except I do tell dad jokes. I try to get you out of your own way, because remember, we're all super fixed or fixated on stuff. And none of this is about thinking, which is really a tough concept, because we want to think our way, grasp our way through, you know, actual photos of angels, actual seeing out your window. If you're really cool about it, meet them in human form and have a cup of coffee. That's, you know, we're down to a handful of folks out of thousands that can get that loosey-goosey or relaxed about the concept. So we all know we do a lot of thinking and judging, and we get in our own way. When we, you know, my neighborhood, we could all agree that Fred, 20 doors down, is a total jerk. And it's a fact. But if you didn't do that judging so strongly, you're giving Fred room for breathing. It's a little bit like Christmas Carol Scrooge at the beginning of the story. We know he's really mean. We know he's down to a filament or dental floss for a life force or flow. He's only about money. Doesn't care about anything. We forget that he's the biggest joy bringer 79 pages later by the end of the story. Christmas Carol, Scrooge, Ebenezer. That's all of us daily, or at least weekly. And some of us don't come up for air. If a big trauma, accident, death in the family, divorce, you're on your 5th divorce in 5 months, you're really unlucky. You're not going to recover from that for decades. We just don't give ourselves a break. We take ourselves way too seriously. There's the age-old burden of self-importance. And look at mankind's history. We do a lot of destruction and damage to our brethren, our brothers, sisters. This is all about just doing a little more love, being a little gentler, kinder where you can. We're only talking 7% less thinking a day. That's it. And I think I did the math about 7 times now. I still can't remember how long that is. I'm going to say it's about an hour and 40 minutes a day of less thinking. Do poetry, take a walk, yoga. There's 1 million ways to be here. Unfortunately, there's 40 million ways, reason, logos, intellect, that say, no way, Jose, we're not doing that. I got to know something other than just staying open.
Yeah. And I often say to people, you know, when they go, yeah, I don't have enough time in the day not to be thinking of anything. It's like, do you use the bathroom? You've got 2, 3 minutes. Do that during the day. It all adds up. So you can't say you don't have time.
Everything is your opportunity for growth, but I've never really met anybody who gets laid off from a job and says, oh, hooray, this is my opportunity for growth. I've always wanted to start my business. You've usually got to go through at least 2 days of misery, if not 2 months, and let everybody know that you've been laid off. And it could be a divorce, the end of the relationship. You got kicked out of your flat. It could be anything. So very few of us recognize that the universe is actually stepping in. It was the best thing in the world that you left that job. The government was coming in to close those offices 6 days later, and you went on to bigger and broader horizons without knowing that was coming. There's so many instances of that, and we hear so many stories, and that's what I try to do on the show, is get a lot of those stories out. Your car breaks down, 2 gentlemen show up. They're not actually human. They're using bare hands to fix your hot, steaming hot radiator. You don't really notice it at the time. They just get your car fixed up and send you on your way. But as you think back, you're like, holy cow. A normal human would have had their hands burned in that situation. It was an angel and a figure from India helping a woman out in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. So the universe is always bigger than we think it is. What will you allow for? This isn't about any particular organization, thought form. You got to do it this way or that way, or wear blue shoes, not green. You got to do it your way. That's the most important thing. That's why I love not telling anybody a thing, but making sure they're feeling comfortable enough to do a little bit of listening at least.
Yeah, that's the brilliant way of thinking about it, and allowing people to actually speak whilst you listen. So, what synchronicities have happened to you in your life? Because I think I remember reading something about a job you walked into. Someone was leaving.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can do one more too. Early on, like 12 years ago, 13 years ago, when I was sort of just starting to have to pay attention. I skipped half my Plato reading back at university. So Plato's part of the cast. You can meet him. But way back at the beginning, before I took any photos of angels, before I met angels, I was stuck on the concept of ghosts. I think you could pretty much get stuck on anything, peanut butter and jelly. But I'm stuck on ghosts. And I go downtown to Austin. I don't want to talk to any more people. They're all woo, woo, woo. They're all energy. I'm getting told all sorts of stuff, messages. They can see my light. I'm freaking out even more. And so I want to go get a burger at a place that reminds me of the East Coast. I'm in Texas today, but I'm an East Coaster originally. It reminds me of Nantucket, an island off Cape Cod. And I just want to get a burger, and I want to have a peaceful night out on the town a little bit. I walk in, the place is empty. And in walks another human I haven't seen in 3 months since I was last there. We sit in the same seats. It was a miracle he came in that night. The bartender's different. There's one other fellow at the end of the bar eating out of a mindfulness video very slowly. It looks like a Hispanic Nick Nolte, if people still remember that actor. And I'm stuck on ghosts. I'm so jittery. I don't mention it to the guy next to me, but I managed to get out of my stool and go to the end of the bar and mention it to a complete stranger wearing a leather jacket. His cover story, he said something to us. Oh, I own a farm in South Texas, like grapefruit and other stuff. He was just passing through. Well, it was an angel. It's this angel, Joy, that people have seen in human form, usually female, but a guy for this one. They can do anything and show up in Hollywood wardrobe of any sort. I look into those eyes, and she had come down essentially to kick my butt and throw me over the fence to get me to stop fussing and worrying about ghosts so I could get moving and start just paying attention more. So I looked into the eyes and I saw galaxies spinning. And from that point on, I never worried about ghosts again. I literally needed divine intervention. I need to hear stuff 200 times before I allow for it. I'm a slowpoke. And so the good news is I'm not that slow on teaching. I help people pretty much like a lightning bolt get it and move forward, and then they don't need me again. So if you want that story, I'll mention it in 30 seconds. There were no jobs to be had in 1990 Nantucket Police Department. I happened to be in optimistically getting a registration like sticker for my car as if I'm going to be on the island that summer. It's a small recession. There's no dishwashing jobs, landscaping. I've got waiting experience. I'm getting the parking permit. I hear door after door slam. A guy exits the last security door dressed in a police uniform, slams it, and he goes. And it's the first time I think I was publicly funny because I do this. And I say to the bulletproof glass, the dispatcher, I think Belinda, I'm like, hey, does that mean there's a job opening here? person had stormed out, and it was a lot of negative energy, and everyone in line started laughing, and it kind of transformed the thing. But she said, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Oh my God, there's a job somewhere." I was like, "Absolutely." And half an hour later, I'm being interviewed by the chief, a real serious interview, and I got sworn in the next day. And I definitely got help doing it. I had a blast. I stood at the top of Main Street, answered tourist questions. Later, 6 months later, I got the mountain bike, and the helmet had been lost. This is back in 1990 when, if you don't have a helmet, you wouldn't ride today. No department, the liability, lawyers. Back then, it was like CHIPS. If anybody remembers California Highway Patrol, the TV series from the 70s, 80s, I had the sunglasses here. I got to say, the chief just told me, ride around and say hello to people. What? I'm getting paid to do this. So wind in the hair, tan, fit and ready. A lot of fun. So.
Yeah, and I just love that. I just love when I saw that. I was like, oh, I just love that story. That is so absolutely brilliant that came back. So, have you always sort of like had a connection with angels and things since is there anything back in your childhood that you go back and you go, oh, actually, yeah, that was there, but I didn't realize what it was.
I think so. But I'm pretty obtuse. Let's just this isn't trying to put myself down. It's just, I'm super happy, but I need a lot of stuff explained to me. And I think looking back, yes, I only can give one quick example. I had an internship during college in Vermont. And if anybody knows Middlebury, Vermont, it's a very small town with a bridge in the center over some waterfalls. And this advertising agency, relatively new, has started up in an office right there looking at the waterfall. I'm in there for 5 minutes, and I just asked out loud, hey, do you ever have any ghosts here? Now, I'm not intuitive at that point that I know of, but I've got a little something going on for decades. And the owner comes kind of hustling over, and he's like, did you see something? And I'm like, no, but it just seems like the kind of place. And he kind of quietly is like, look, we just had an exorcism here a week ago. I need to know if you see anything. And I was like, oh my God. And I did see a cat that wasn't there, but I didn't know it wasn't there. It looked like real. I saw a cat go across the room into this huge bathroom that probably was a closet before. And then I went in there and there was no place to go. It disappeared. And I'm like, somehow the brain has a way of just putting it on hold for 10 years. You don't analyze it. I think a lot of people do that with trauma and other stuff. The brain is a funny thing. And that's kind of what I help people get around, is what they know, what they know, what they think is possible, to then interact with the ultimate casino blackjack dealer, which is the universe. All you have to do is put a chip on the poker table and yell to the universe, make it so. And don't even know what you're doing. Just be like, hey guys, universe, angels, I don't know what I'm doing, but make it nice. Thank you. Set your intent, let it fly, and own it with a little thank you, Om Sai Ram. If you're religious, amen. Anything that works for you, trust that you know how to already do it all.
Yeah, which I think is one of the hardest things as humans that we have, is trust.
Yes, trust, faith, hope, joy. Those are all angel names, by the way, and it's a little cabal. I put Audrey Hepburn in there because she's half grace, half sparkle in the moment. You can meet and see her. She'll bring you perfume uninvented from Paris or Milan if you prefer. It's, again, what will you allow for? That's the true rub. And we can get away from angels for a second. How are you doing in sports? Are you stuck in a rut? Your times aren't getting any better for your competitions for running, baseball, whatever we're talking about, job, stuck in the career? Welcome to being human. That's just how we all roll for everything. So this is about just getting to a little side plateau for a second, a broader perspective, so you can take stock and get a little help with everything, a little guidance. Where should you put your focus and energy? If I've learned 3 things in 13 years, and that's about it. I don't learn very much very fast. I've learned 3 things. Where you put your focus is where you put your focus. How you spend your energy is how you spend it. And finally, angels exist. It's a fact. I mean, its photos are nice. You can see in human form. People can do it as a group, but they exist. So trust that this is so. And your answers, hugs, and much more will come. It just depends on how quickly you get jiggy with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I totally, agree with that. Working with the angelic realms, it's just absolutely amazing. And when they're there and their energy, you feel their presence. It's just, they are there. And they can be, and then when I started doing angelic Reiki, it's like they can be really tough as well. They're the most beautiful, gentle people. But I remember I was doing angelic Reiki on a lady, and you could feel that she was really blocking the energy coming in. You could feel it from her. And literally, I called in the most perfect healing angel for her. And I nearly headbutted her because that angelic energy just literally came straight in. We're going into it, whether you were, and I literally, after I'm thinking, I nearly headbutted that woman. Would my insurance have covered me for that?
I love it. And I know you're super talented. Not to throw the show host a compliment here on air, but you and I have played enough together and I've seen you in action. So I love that you're so open. The Tibetan Buddhist monks call it opening openness. Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche. I mispronounced everything. I was saying Rinpoche for 10 years. Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche, I think, had that phrase, opening openness. That's all this is about, is the journey from here to here. But for some of us, it's decades, or you got to have 2 car wrecks, 2 divorces, and a semi-crashed airplane you survived to get you to just pay attention, or just other stuff. A lot of us, though, are very open, or just are like, okay, I see that all the time. They could be young, they could be 80. It just depends, how the universe knows how to do the rest. You just have to kind of get here, set your intent, and kind of say, make it so. Like walking into a restaurant full of hospitality, they've got your favorite table set aside, the chef, the waiters, the maitre d', even the owners there, you know them all, but they happen to be angels, and you don't have to pay the bill. That's how I describe all this.
Yeah, I love that description. Yeah, I love the way you come out with all these descriptions, analogies, and comparisons, because it makes it so much easier for people that might not be aware to actually understand what you're actually talking about without going into all the big words and everything that have normally been associated with angels. Because if you do look back at history and people in the past, they have used really big, grand words and explanations, and you can be like, what?
It's and everyone's got to have it their way. So there's a lot of sophisticated people with 15 PhDs. They got to have it the sophisticated way. There's others who are like, I just need help, and they want to have experiences. So what I love is you get past the whole word, the dialogue thing, the this, the that, especially the organizational stuff, especially today. Even though thousands of years ago it was very strict certain ways, it's still in a way just as strict or restrictive, or people think they can't in greater numbers. Just kind of park all that and start experiencing. So I love lighting some sage. We can do that in a little bit. I light sage, I blow it through the screen, no matter where you are, what year it is. I've had guests. I've been a guest on like 75 shows. The show hosts catch it. It doesn't matter how far away, what year it is, you smell sage. But why settle for sage? Ask angels to bring you flowers and even ocean. I'll show light on my hands, which you can see against a blue sky. But then you can just do direct seeing. Have angels make you butterflies everywhere. Now that's pushing it for a lot of people watching, but flecks of light, butterflies, meet and see an angel, see your relatives. It's a big cast of characters. So it's better to take some baby steps first and go, oh my, that was actually real. And then you're going to short circuit for a little bit. So you might need a week or 2 to process. I kind of argue that all the processing is a waste of time, because this isn't about more thinking. It's about getting out of thinking and just letting your heart be that professional athlete that you already are. I'll do it one other way. Thinking about walking the dog is not walking the dog. Walking the dog and like enjoying walking the dog happens when you're here. If you're a tennis player and it was a great stroke, it's when you're here. If you're thinking too much, you shank the ball. Golf, tennis. So thinking about stuff doesn't get anything done. And you could think about all this, and you could even say, yeah, he's right. I'll start next Tuesday. 2 years from now, 100 Tuesdays later, you haven't started. Welcome to being human. And that's not a judgment. You're good. You're good whenever you can just get out of your own way. It's like cleaning the garage. Nobody wants to do it.
No, I definitely don't want to clean my shed. Too many spider webs. But spiders are okay. I'll accept spiders. So how did you get out of Wall Street and into doing this? Because obviously you think Wall Street, angels, the work you do, they're not kind of like corporate and spiritual. They don't really mesh that well.
Yeah, my first job out of college after the police department stint was 2 years Wall Street. I looked young. I needed to find a better profession. So I fell into public relations back when like a classified ad in the New York Times was looking for someone. Nobody does that anymore. I found the coolest little public relations agency. Was there like 2.5 years, started putting people into the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, CNN, loved it. And then started my own and really had fun with that. Once 9/11 happened, I ditched that, went in-house with, it was either going to be executive search firms, one of my areas of expertise, or law firms. So I ended up at the 25th at the time, or 28th largest American firm, headquartered out of Houston, but they wanted me in New York. And then I got poached a couple of years later to a top 10 worldwide, $1 billion in revenue law firm that was brilliant. A lot of fun. And I think in a single year, I set up 1,100 plus media interviews, and I sat in on all those. So we'd run around to the headquarters or have them come over, or if it was in Europe, then it would be a teleconference call. And people would get interviewed and magic would happen. But I was really big about doing like meals because people felt relaxed sitting together. And instead of a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, it was trying to foster relationships long term so more magic could happen and others could benefit, whether it was on our side or other reporters that knew the immediate reporter. And so it was a very beautiful long-term program that I did for 4.5 years in the last stint. And then the Lehman crisis came along, and I was in the third round of stealth layoffs. I think I was the only one excited out of 72 people. With an hour's notice, we were told no more job. And I had been wanting to get out of New York City forever. I had bought a home in Austin, Texas. I'm in San Antonio now. So I didn't do the Toyota jump for joy, but I should have. I was very excited. And that's when it was a slippery slope. Everything started happening once I moved into my house in Austin. Unexplainable stuff. People who came to clear my house couldn't explain why they were having to come back. They never have to come back. I started seeing, hearing, feeling. You go through all that. I mean, I remember I came back from the Boston Marathon. I think this is around 2010. And I knew I wasn't going to finish it. I was in really good shape, but I caught the flu or a cold, and I was being an idiot. I flew out there anyhow. I knew I was only going to run half of it. I ran half of it at a sub 3-hour pace, what I wanted to do. And then I dropped out, and I was content. And on the plane ride back on a JetBlue flight, I saw auras for the first time on every other person. I can't explain why I didn't see it on the other people, and the plane wasn't about to crash. But of course, one other thing happened. I had ear pressure most of the time for like weeks, months afterwards, as if I was at 30,000 feet or at certain select times. It couldn't have been constant. I would have gone to the ER room. But of course, I went to an ENT doctor who checked me out. I had the hearing of a wolf. And the second I got out of the checkup, though, and I'm in my car again, it kicks back in. Go figure. The universe is trying to tell me to slow down, pay attention, trust more. You're okay. But that doctor was ended up being a very good acquaintance, friend. And he shared the most amazing personal story of his parents. And they both had kind of like Alzheimer's, as one was dying in kind of a hospice nursing home, and the other had no way of knowing where she was. The husband awoke from his stupor, found her bedside, held her hand, and made his way back as she passed. And he's drawn, this is a doctor taking time to draw me the map of the whole thing. And he said to me, I said to him, 1 in a million? And he goes, no, like 1 in 100. He goes, the universe. He was like, most doctors, most scientists, most everything else, it's all got to be thinking based. He was in his heart and was like, no. I mean, he was practically like crying. He was sharing something so beautiful. It was like The Notebook a little bit, the ending, if people know that movie. He shared something so incredible, but for him to take out paper and pen and draw something out, and yeah, it was a special little moment. But I guess what I'm trying to say to everybody is you're going to have your blocks, your doubts, your resistance. You're going to hear something that I've said, which I've pretty much, I think, said it all at this point. And you're going to be like, no way, Jose, not possible. And it's okay. But put it to the universe before you go to bed. Ask for a great dream. Ask for a stranger to say just what you needed to hear a week from now. You want to go crazy, ask for angels to show up on your path full on. Have a cup of coffee with them. You'll freak out. They're going to have a high vibe. They're not going to be, when I say Lithuanian women, sparkly eyes, fashionable, fine. They're not going to be Lithuanian mob, though, or Slovakian, if you prefer, picking you up and it's a one-way trip. I'm saying your vibration, you're going to feel it. It's energy. You're going to be like, oh, my God, who are these people? Part of you is fight or flight. You're going to be like, hop back into the vehicle and get out of here. The other half of you, who's the trusting part, the loving part, is going to be like, ooh, this feels good. And Joe's coffee shop is right there. Let's do it. So what will you allow for is the rub. Should I try to pull out a little bit of sage and we blow a little?
I think I was just about to suggest that. So I think that sounds absolutely perfect.
And see, you're psychic medium too.
There
Okay,
you
I'm
go.
gonna light sage. My only rule or bit of structure I have, which I'm gonna look really vacuous. It's set your intent. So just here's what I say for 13 years. Just ask angels to make it nice. Hey, angels, make it nice. Get me out of my head into my heart. Amen. Rock and roll. Thank you. Whatever works for you. That is your way of saying it. And allow for a little bit of sage to reach you. It's not really your schnoggin or nose doing the smelling. It's your heart. So if you've got that, I haven't smelled anything for 5 years. I'm a rugby player. I've broken my nose 6 times. I can't possibly smell anything. Well, colorblind people have seen color. We can do energy next, seeing it. So what will you allow for? Give yourself a break. And one dad joke. If you're laughing, you're letting go. Santa's reindeer, I know, wrong time of year, but Santa's reindeer, Blitzen, Dancer, just those two. Why do they drink so much coffee, Blitzen and Dancer? Because they're Santa's Starbucks. And if you're laughing, you're letting go. Yep, the brain will want to shut it down and be like, dumb joke. But the heart's now wide open. Catch a little sage. For people who catch sage, please put a comment in, share, subscribe, like on her show. And also ask for flowers. It could be from childhood where you're headed next on vacation. And if you're not going on vacation, ask angels to come in and just show you. Close your eyes, get a vision of where you're going on vacation. If you want to hear Thailand, an island, Bora Bora, not boring, or Seychelles, hear something exotic, or just the next county away. And are you getting, Rae, a little bit of sage? Way past sage. Are you getting flowers?
Oh, I've got sweet peas coming in.
I didn't do it. Don't blame Canada, blame angels. And I'm going to snub this out now. And people can play this back. And really, if you have to get up, go take a shower, walk, hug a tree, hug your dog, get something, watch a comedy show, whatever you got to do to loosen up, you can do it. And permission to maybe show my energy. Is that all right too?
Totally.
Okay, so this is going to be out of the movie Celestine Prophecy, except that I had a couple guests, or one guest on my show who in the 1970s was like, nah, we were doing this before the movie Celestine Prophecy did it. And then in India, they do it this way. So who knows where the origin is. Blue sky is number one. I'll use black paper, and you're going to see a film and a light between my fingers. You get one more dad joke, more importantly. You'll see blue, gold, green, yellow, white. It is what it is. There's 4 million ways to see. But if you'll really let go, once you see it, ask angels, personally sit at home and in the comfort of your own flat. Be like, hey, angels, make more. Get flowers, get vortices, get a hummingbird out of light, get something and allow for it. My joke will only get you so far, but it'll get you started. Okay, so where in a hospital is the worst place to play hide and seek? Where? In the ICU. And what are you seeing between my fingers?
I'm not going to say, because I want the audience to put what they can see there.
Okay, so I'll stay little, see something. If you want to put your hand out, your palm to the screen, you can feel it that way. Just any which way and loose. Old Clint Eastwood movie. Okay, here we go. I'll go bigger. Everything's backwards for me, so I'm trying not to look like a moron and put my fingers together here. Breathe, breathe, breathe. No try Yoda. I'm going to do Yoda's voice. As you crack up, you're letting go. But now let me go faster and bigger. See if you can catch butterflies, geometric shapes, flowers, something. Here's Yoda's voice. Do not. There is no try. And allow. Although it's no try Yoda, but always try Archangel Gabriel. And they're both correct. So this isn't about words. It's just about being. To be or not to be, Shakespeare. One's in your heart, one's in your brain. We're always in our brain. So we're talking just that 7% less daily letting go. Okay, I'll stop. And you can play that back and see what you can have happen.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what you as viewers actually saw or even felt.
And I have an angel for you next, just so we get to the actual, like, the good stuff, the pudding at the end here. Okay, here's Joy. It's an actual photo of an angel. If you have to have more detail, fine. There's a silhouette of an angel who's my guardian angel, but a guardian angel for 80,000 of us. Okay, you could put your hand out for joy and feel a little bit of joy. Yeah. And catch the vibe here. I'll go away. Everything's backwards, so when I go left, I move right. Feel what you can feel. Don't judge. Just be in your heart. And warmth, sparkle, tingle, high vibration. Some people trying too hard might get it on their toes. Just ask her the puffiest of puff questions, the easiest question in the world, which if it's stressful, usually you have attachments to it, so you make it harder. I always like to make sure people trust that they can hear, feel, and see first, like their electricity, their plumbing is actually working. So just ask her the easiest question in the world. Hey, Joy, what do I need to know in life right now? And hear a little whisper. It'll be your voice first. And for a few seconds, you might be worried about it. Then just laugh, be in your heart and listen with your heart. You're going to hear a high-pitched 28-year-old voice saying, breathe, relax, if you're worried about this. If you're already kind of on the topic and it's about this coming weekend, you'll get an answer. And then most importantly, ask for a hug. 1 million ways to feel a hug. Goosebumps, yummy in the tummy, a whoosh, a wind in the room, up and down your back, the Kundalini Express. I'm not going to say any more except just allow, no triota. You got this. And photos will move. If it's a historical photo, Audrey Hepburn, she can wink, smile. I'll probably put her up only because that's something that's easy for folks, sort of. We know photos can't move, duh, but they completely move, duh. So
well,
what
they
are you going to
do.
do
If
with
you
that?
believe in Harry Potter, they move.
It's just like the movies where the newspaper, the photos move. So here's Audrey. She's an angel. She's wonderful, but the eyebrow might go up. You might get a bigger smile, the shoulder waggle. Just let her do her job. And you might as well ask a question, get an answer, get a hug. And if you want to catch perfume invented from, uninvented yet, but from Paris, do it. Okay, Milan, if you prefer Milan, fine. And Rae, if you'll just say got it for folks to take heart, take confidence when you got something from her.
Got it.
Yay, I didn't do it. Close your eyes if you wish. Have Audrey come in. In America, everybody likes to listen with their eyes closed. But you can do it with the eyes open. You can see fully out your window. If you want to look out in the yard, you're already getting really cocky. Look out your window, pick a tree or a bush. Just hear or feel that it's the right place to look. If you need further distance, 2 pitches away, 200 meters away, you're going to feel it's easier than 50 meters away. Now, what's the rub again is if you went skydiving yesterday, the chute didn't open, you bounced and lived. Every television station in the country wants to interview you. You're that miraculous survivor, not a scratch, not even a broken rib. For 5 days, you're going to have no thinking. You're going to just be like, oh my God, even the neighbor you don't like, you're going to give him a hug. You're going to talk to the little bluebird on the branch of the tree. That's when you strike and say, angels, let's go for a cup of coffee. Because when they show up at your door in human form or come into your kitchen and you've made the tea, put the kettle on, you're not thinking about anything. You got a good couple of days after that mishap where you'll be wide open. And then trust me, your thinking is still coming right back. Welcome to being human, and all your problems will be back within a week. So you're going to suffer more all over again. What are you going to do?
Oh, you're just going to keep asking the angels.
Exactly.
That's all you need to do is keep asking the angels. So, as you know, I do guided meditations, angel oracle card readings. And each week I like to ask my guests if they would like me to do a mini guided meditation or pull an angel oracle or pull an oracle card for themselves and those watching. And as Michael has kindly done a beautiful thing for us, I think it's a brilliant thing. So, Michael, would you like me to do a mini guided meditation or pull an oracle card for you and everyone watching?
Ooh, let's do an oracle card for everyone watching and myself. And my question, if I get to ask a question, is how much more fun can I actually have ahead, especially starting June and on? I always want more fun and can use a lot more zip, sparkle, and finances for all of us. We can always have a bigger bank account without all the strings attached. So that would be my question if we're supposed to ask a question too.
Okay. Well, I always do the cards for what you need to know for your highest good at this moment in time, because although I work with the past and I take people into the past, it's so they can see, heal, and know their past, so it doesn't affect them in the present. And when I take people into the future, it's so they can see, understand, and know what's in the future, where they're going, how to get there. So again, it doesn't affect them in the present. But yep, if you have a particular question you want, but otherwise it will be, what does Michael and everyone need to know for their highest good at this moment in time? And it ties in beautifully with something you said earlier. Solitude, in silence, peace prevails. I mean, what more can you say for validation of everything that you're doing, what you've been saying, and for those watching, take note of these words. When you can sit in that silence and listen to nothing and just be, the most amazing, beautiful things happen to you. You feel that love, that light, that joy, the angels coming into you. So take the time to do that. As I said, even if it's just a few minutes in the bathroom, just take that time to sit in that silence, as Michael was talking about earlier, just being.
I love it. And if I can take a liberty, I'm going to show one more angel photo, or two. I lied. And it's just going to be real quick, or three. A fairy named Ginger. 4 archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel. But I wanted to show one who makes hearts in our photos. Her name is Heather. And even her name is the word heart rearranged with extra letters. And she makes beautiful hearts. But I've seen her as a human in Stockholm on one of my trips. In Hawaii, she was a Portuguese ballerina taking time off from life. And just surfing. So no, I was a bodyboarder at the time, but nobody who's a bodyboarder, no surfer will ever hang out with a bodyboarder. So she had to be an angel. But I've seen her in New York City and elsewhere, Austin, Vegas as a human. Here she is making another heart.
Beautiful.
And what I wanted to do was just one last whoosh to everybody. It won't be safe. There won't be a photo. It will be angels, though. It's not my energy. It's love and above. I'm going to put my hand up here in Texas, good old US of A. People can put their hand up and feel the vibe, and it doesn't matter what year this is, 2030, a little tingle, a little warmth, a little sparkle. Rae, on this one, can we call you out? What are you feeling on your hand right now?
I'm feeling little pinpricks.
Okay, and if anybody needs help, breathe through the mouth. If you're a professional nose breather, the 1 out of 30 people, make sure your shoulders are going up and down like billows. I'm going to whoosh with this hand, catch a lot of angel light your way. I'm going to blow as little. I'm going to look like a goose here, or goofy. But catch a little Hawaii. I'm going to blow through the microphone up here. Catch a little Hawaii, catch a little love all over you. And Rae, did you get that A-okay?
Oh, did I got a beautiful, warm energy just literally waft over my hand then. It was lovely.
And if we did it more, you could get it bigger, but that's why you got to come back and, watch the show over again and ask for angels to make it bigger the second time around. Keep coming back and watching the show. Bookmark it.
Definitely. So, Michael, do you have any insights or thoughts or last words of wisdom to leave our viewers?
Grow your awareness, or your heart, not your thinking. There's a million ways to call this, and there's a million ways to call this. Every organization, self-help person, spiritual leader has a way to describe it, but it only works if it's your words. So unconditional love, no limits, freedom, breathing, laughter, joy. Awareness is pretty good. Consciousness, unconsciousness, love, unlove. Although the brain's job is to convince you this is more real. That's why so many of those amazing movies out there are all about the human condition over time. The last 70 years of film to help you get out of here to get to here, or literature or whatever. So what will you allow for is the rub. Don't worry about it. You could spend 10 years you could have one of the experiences we tried to give you on the video and then get stuck all over again. You're just going to be stuck all the time. Once you realize that getting unstuck is just take a breath, a smile, shrug, go plant a flower, go pet your dog, take a walk, hug a tree. Again, there's a million ways to be here, 40 million ways to be here. Welcome to being human. And those are my words of wisdom.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So I hope everyone that you've enjoyed this conversation and found it insightful, because I know I definitely have. So if people want to connect with you, Michael, how do they do that? And do you have anything coming up in the future? Any free gifts, offers to share? Anything you want to let our viewers know how they can connect with you or how they can work with you?
Sure. MichaelAndréFord.com, the website. My full name, Michael André, like the champagne, Ford, like the truck or car.com. There's a YouTube channel, same thing. check that out. There's a great show. Guests take steps if you need more help. Watching them do it might help you feel more confident. And finally, I've got a little book, $7.99. It was $4.99 until maybe a year or two ago. I've been asking angels, could I raise the price? And it's $7.99 on Amazon now. Listening to angels, that's what it looks like. Photos of angels in there. It's a 15-minute read, and I think it's been number 2 twice in angels in the last couple of years. It's super short, and anyone who thinks I wrote it, you're the best. I mean, like, thank you. But clearly there's no way. You've heard how I talk. It's very gentle. Angels wrote the thing. I was seeing balls of light as I was typing, and you should have fun with it. It's a quick book. That's about it. So, hey, thank you, Rae, for having me on. You're amazing, and I really appreciated the liberty you gave me here to take a few steps with folks.
Oh, no, it's absolutely amazing. So thank you so, so much for sharing your wisdom. And of course, for anyone watching, if you are ready for even more clarity and transformation, then I'd love to invite you to a free 20-minute live Soul Path Discovery one-to-one video call, where during our time together, I'll pull a couple of angel oracle cards to help you gain clarity and uncover guidance from your higher self or the angels. This is your chance to reflect, connect, and gain insight into your path forward. And I'd be truly honoured for we to get to chat with you, one-to-one guide you, and help you take the next step toward living the life that you're always meant to live. And of course, I do have a couple of free gifts for you designed to help you connect more deeply with your guides and angels and explore your future. So check out the link in the comments after the show to grab yours. And again, I'd like to thank everyone so much for watching. And I'd like to remind you to invite you to share this video, as I'm sure there are more people who feel lost and want to get clear on their destiny just like you and could really do with angels' love and joy. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, then please feel free to subscribe. It is free, doesn't cost you anything. And hit that bell button to be notified when the show goes live. My other show, Oracle Card and Meditation Your Weekend Reset, which goes live every Friday. Or I post new guided meditations. And remember, every time you like, share, comment on anything I post, anything Michael posts, any of my guests posts, or any of our channels, you're really helping with the algorithm and getting our messages out there, to help people on their path to take charge of their destiny, and you become part of that butterfly effect. And I look forward to seeing you all same time, same place next week. Take care. Bye.